So what's good? This is Mike here from MJ Boxing, back again with another video. Any new viewers, please subscribe. I have Ring Magazine writer, the boxing scene writer on the phone, David Greisman. David, how you doing, man?
Mike, I'm great. Happy to talk to you.
All right. Well, let's get right into it. We got Pacquiao Algeri coming up this Saturday. Does Algeri have a chance?
I think he has a chance, but I think the way that people are looking at it is, can Algeri stick to a certain game plan? Can he handle Pacquiao's power and speed? And then beyond that, the big X factor is, which Pacquiao are we going to get? Are we going to get a disinterested Pacquiao? Are we going to get a distracted Pacquiao? Are we going to get a Pacquiao who's finally showing signs of, really, he's been pro for 20 years, he's been through a lot of hard fights. I'm giving Algeri a chance, but I'm still favoring Pacquiao to win.
You talk about Pacquiao's power. In this fight, I think they had a catch weight at, 143, 144, something like that?
Yeah, his catch is 144 pounds. That's going to be the lowest that Pacquiao's fought in 3 years since he had the third fight with Juan Manuel Marquez, one back in November 2011. Pacquiao, he hasn't scored a stoppage since the Miguel fight, and before that was his knockout that he had. Some people say that, they wonder why that is. Part of that is the opponents that he's gone against. Josh Claude, Cabrera, Antonio Margarito just had an unregenerate fight. He should have been stopped. Shane Mosley was, very disinterested in engaging, didn't go down in that fight. And then there was a majority decision win over Marquez before the first Bradley fight and then the Marquez knockout. I think part of it is also, Pacquiao's power is really based on his speed as well. He does have considerable power, but it's speed and who he's going against. I think he's still got enough power to keep Algeri honest. It's a different kind of power than what Bogdanov has. But I'll be interested in seeing what happens when Algeri gets hit with the left hand or with a fast combination from Pacquiao. While Algeri has shown some really good skill and some amazing guts in the way that he fought with that close eye against Bogdanov, he's taken a huge step against Manny.
All right, a lot of fans are thinking that, since Pacquiao's coming under 145, he's going to have his power back. And Freddie Roach, I think Pacquiao sparred with Victor Postol and, broke his nose. So a lot of fans are thinking that, once Pacquiao gets close to 140, his power's going to be back. And, Chris Algeri hasn't really fought anybody over 140. And do you think, Pacquiao has enough power that if he hits, Algeri a few times, he can put him away?
It's possible. I wouldn't say that Pacquiao's power was gone. I mean, if his power wasn't there, he wouldn't have been able to keep people on it. If you think back to when Juan Manuel Marquez knocked him out, Pacquiao had Marquez hurt a little bit before that. That was a back and forth fight. So I think his power is still there, but I do think going up in weight, it can limit it. One thing that you do have to consider, though, is that Algeri, who is taller than Pacquiao, has been boiling down to 140, so he might be, more stable, able to take more punishment, given he's going to have 4 fewer pounds, but he has to lose himself, and he might be carrying more power. So I can see Pacquiao putting Algeri away, given, the fact of Bogdanov that they were putting down, but I also do think that the weight could help Algeri, just like being down at a lower weight could help Pacquiao.
Now, Algeri's going to come up, he's like, 20-0 with 8 knockouts. He's not a big puncher, but we do know in the past that, Pacquiao has issues with, boxers and, people that can move and stick and move. So Algeri does have a good set of wheels on him. So do you see his style giving, Pacquiao any problems?
I think so, but I also think his activity could help out with Pacquiao. If you look at Bogdanov's fight, Algeri wasn't running. He was boxing and throwing a lot of punches and making Bogdanov reset. You look at the boxers that Pacquiao had trouble with, when I say trouble, the ones that he didn't look as great with, it was guys like, when Bradley moved, or when Mosley wasn't throwing much, or when Claude wasn't throwing much, and Pacquiao was more aware of the potential that was put back at him. That was the issue with Juan Manuel Marquez, too, given that Marquez is such a great counterpuncher, so great with his timing and placing punches and having the perfect power in it. I think it'll be interesting to see how Pacquiao takes the Algeri jab. Just because a guy has very little knockout power doesn't mean that he can't keep a fighter honest with his style. You look at what Paulie Malignaggi was able to do against Judah, and he was making judo move backwards, just boxing very well. And boxing doesn't necessarily mean moving backwards all the time.
Now, I looked at some training footage of, Chris Algeri, hitting the mitts with his trainer. And, he was moving in boxing. And then somebody, said in the comment section that, he's in survival mode. I'm like, how is a guy in survival mode and he's moving in boxing? What's your take on that?
I know that there's a bias towards guys coming forward and throwing a lot of punches, but that isn't always going to be Algeri's style. Frankly, it shouldn't be. He's got the height advantage, he's got the length advantage, and he should use it. And it's not always not entertaining to see that happen. I think there can be very beautiful boxing performances so long as they continue to engage. And that's why I disagree with Provodnikov when he said that Algeri ran. Algeri wasn't running. He was boxing through a ton of punches in that fight. I wouldn't say that he's in survival mode at all. I think that is an unfortunate malignment of Algeri's style.
All right, so you have Pacquiao by knockout or decision?
I'm going to pick Pacquiao by decision. I think Algeri is gutty. I think he'll be able to take punches. I do see Pacquiao taking over down the stretch. Now, if the punishment gets too one-sided, I can see a stoppage. I don't know about Algeri getting knocked out, but Pacquiao has surprised us over and over the years. We have seen underdogs score the huge upsets, but just like I have a hard time picking against Bernard Hopkins, I have a hard time picking against Manny Pacquiao, who I still think has too much class, too much speed, too big a step up for Algeri at this point. I think Algeri is potentially great for the sport. I hope he has a good career. I hope he builds some fan base. But I think Pacquiao beat him this Saturday.
All right. What do you want to see next for Pacquiao after he, defeats Algeri?
Man, I wish the Cold War was truly over. As much as we're seeing Bob Arum and Oscar De La Hoya talk now, the real Cold War that still exists is one between the networks, because they're competitors, they're not going to work together, and two, Al Heyman. Al Heyman has his own plans for his fighters. That doesn't include working with Bob Arum and James Neville working relationship anyway. That's a shame, because I'd like to see Pacquiao against a lot of the great guys at 140 who are potentially going to be coming up. Guys like Kenny Garcia or even Lamont Peterson or some of these other guys. I would love to see this list. I know it's not realistic. I'm not overly sold on some of these other names that Bob Arum is putting out, like Jesse Vargas. It's a shame that Pacquiao is even fighting Victor Postol, who I really enjoyed seeing at 140, but I don't know about that fight. Oh man, it's tough, because when you have these pay-per-view fighters like Pacquiao or Mayweather, you have a certain expectation for the star level of the opponent, and that works against it. I hate to say this, I still would have liked to see a fight between Pacquiao and Provodnikov.
But really, that was his sparring partner, so why would he, fight his sparring partner? Why do you think he should fight his sparring partner?
We have had sparring partners fight each other, but the thing that really hurts it, but makes it more possible, is the fact that both of them are trained by Freddie Roach. Now, Roach has an assistant, Marvin Samadio, that worked with Provodnikov and has been working very closely with him when Roach can't be there. And that would be the one that gets in the way, but as they were saying, I think it was earlier this year, if they need to make that fight, then they will make that fight. And Provodnikov still needs a big win, given the fact that he hasn't been able to get certain guys to face him. He's got this key busy fight against Jose Luis Castillo. You'll need another fight on HBO before he gets that Pacquiao fight. But to me, stylistically, that would be a very fun fight. Provodnikov is the kind of pressure fighter that could really make Pacquiao work really hard. I'd rather see Pacquiao against another brawler than see Pacquiao against a boxer.
All right, David, thank you for your time, sir. Any new viewers out there, please subscribe. Holler at me, I'm out, all right?